John Paul actually has been away from TDK and the company for a month.
Don't feel like bringing myself to work. Like they've hit a plateau. What else are you going to do? Where are you going to go already? Where are you going to climb? What is the direction? What is the purpose?
I mean, sorry. Aren't you just bad at that job? His option, right, is he want to quit his job and see whether he can become like a fitness influencer. You're probably gonna be broke.
Alright guys, so many of you probably don't know this, but John Paul actually has been away from TDK and the company for a month, and he's back.
Almost quit.
Yeah. To our very, very pleasant surprise, he's back. And we actually wanted to talk about his sabbatical, like the time you've been away, what you've learned, what you've gathered. And at the same time, NLB actually came to us and wanted to produce an episode about unlocking creativity. And we thought this was the perfect marriage, the perfect blend. And so we wanted to take this opportunity. So, sir, John Paul, how was your sabbatical? What made you want to do it?
Why you come back? I know it's a continuation.
So I think I've been in this industry for like 10 years already. Since I graduated uni,
You've been in this industry longer
Veteran.
than I've been in this industry. Like shit.
For 10 years straight, I've been in the same industry. And I think that also weighed very heavily on me because I've had multiple conversations with friends who are around my age or so, and they're all going through the same thing. They've all been in the same industry doing the same thing for 10 years. There's a certain level of mastery that they've achieved. All of them feel like they've hit a plateau. What else are you going to do? Or where are you going to go already? Where are you going to climb? What is the direction? What is the purpose? Because you're stuck in the same job and it's the same cycle. You kind of, you don't really know how to grow as a person anymore through the work that you're doing. A lot of us have found like hobbies outside and all these kind of things to continue motivating us. But for me, I think it's very important that my work has to bring a certain level of fulfillment outside of just like finance. So the 10-year mark, right, was really for me to be like, okay, am I going to pivot now and do a mid-career shift? Or am I going to stay? And if I were to stay, what is that going to look like for the next 5 to 10 years? I think that was one of the biggest decisions that was weighing on me.
I think what's quite interesting also is to see like some of your peers that you started with, where we watch with on TSL, actually move into different careers, almost different industries. And like I was wondering whether that weighed on your mind.
I feel like I'm always thinking of like what are the other possibilities. But at the end of the day, I also recognize that your life is just,
a series of choices.
And these are the choices that I made. I cannot speculate on how things have turned out otherwise, may have turned out otherwise. All I can know is that what is my next choice? Like I think for quite a while, right, I was already feeling kind of like down and out. And I think it was showing in the quality of the work that I was able to deliver here, at least to me. I think it weighed a lot on me. Like I felt a bit guilty in a sense. And then the more I feel that way, right, then the worse everything gets also. The more I don't feel like bringing myself to work, the more I feel like I'm not performing how I want to. And then it makes me question everything else also. Like whether I feel fulfillment here, whether it has to do with the job or whether it's my own life and all that kind of stuff.
Or money.
Yeah, or money. I think along the way of deciding, I had a conversation with John also. And the main thing that popped up for me, right, which was quite interesting, right, was because I was actually honestly thinking of whether I should leave already.
Yeah.
I think during the conversation, the one thing that really struck me was that he said something to me, which was that you have a few options, or at least he gave me some options. One was to just leave and go and like explore on my own and go and figure it out, whether I want to start my own thing or this kind of stuff, right? Which were some of the options that I was considering. But the thing that he said to me was, if you want to do that, right, this is the perfect place for you to go and do that on the side. And go and figure that out while you have a job, while you have financial security, all these other things. And in fact, this platform as well, right, which helps like all of us also. The weird thing is that there's something that I would tell other people. Like people that I was managing last time, right, when they were bringing up this same problem to me, right, I would tell them the exact same thing. Yet, when I'm in it, I couldn't see it.
Right.
I couldn't hear it also. Yeah.
One of his option, right, is he want to quit his job and then he want to raw dog 2-3 months, right, and see whether he can become like a fitness influencer, something like that. If you want to start a new business, launch it here. If you want to be a fitness influencer, do it here. And either way, you have 3 to 5 times the success rate. And I'm thinking like, how do I tell him that without trying to sound like an employer that will say anything to retain you?
So what worked?
I don't know.
It was essentially that actually.
It was sessions of me just listening first.
Right.
And then low-key accepting his resignation first. I think that was what I did. Like I was like, I understand if you go. I mean, really, it's been a long time. Yeah, and I was just tell him, as a friend, it sucks. But I think when there comes a time, there comes a time.
So from what I'm hearing from John, it sounds like you were missing like a creative challenge. Like essentially, you wanted to try this influencer route.
Yeah. So one of the things that I spoke to him about also, and one of the core reasons why I was also feeling burnout is because I think the nature of my job changed a little bit. Like for me, I'm kind of like a specialist role type person. So I want to constantly be exploring and creating, be in that space lah. And not so much managing or having to every day come to work, sit at a desk and look at like client briefs, for example, right? But towards the last year or so, I think that was when I felt like every day I'm coming in for the most part just to do that. And then it was really just not something that I enjoyed lah. I think that stacks on to me not being able to explore creatively. And I think creativity is something that if you don't exercise enough, right, and you're not challenging and going out into like the unknown kind of, then I feel like it stifles it quite a lot. Yeah, and kind of kills like the creativity.
So it sounds like a combination of a lot of things. Like there was a part of the work that you didn't like, then you're weighed down by this guilt. Then you also feel like you're not challenged enough creatively. So actually what burnout looks like is a compilation of a lot of negative feelings across multiple aspects of the job.
Yeah. So when I shared with you about what I was feeling before this sabbatical, right? What were your thoughts on it?
You're a bit sabbatical. That was a big decision.
No, okay. So for context, right? The first time I took a sabbatical was 4 years into my first job. So at that point of time, like a lot going on once again. Then I took a sabbatical for like a month.
Okay, 2 months, then after that he quit. The previous time, he needed more mental rest. It's not really like he had a goal for what he wanted to do.
Okay, so this one felt more structured, more
This one felt like he already had mental rest, right? He just needed...
He rest too much. He needed a push.
Yeah, because when I asked you, what you gotta do since, okay, if you gotta take a sabbatical, right? What you gotta do? Then he's like, I got everything lined up, like, 7 a.m., 5 p.m., I have no time to rest also. Then I'm like, okay, that seems like you're quite motivated, like eager to do something.
Yeah.
So he wants to do something, but not that he's mentally like he just want to lie on the bed. No, he actually wants to achieve things.
It doesn't sound like you're trying to recover from any form of burnout. It was that you weren't challenged enough, and this was going to be your period of discovery of like, can I actually challenge myself? Can I actually achieve all these things I want to set out to do? I felt a change. I felt like when you came back after a month of your break, like you looked energized. You looked ready to like conquer the world again. Speaking of energizing you, there's actually an opportunity for all of us. It's open to everyone. It's called Thrives at Library 2025. So it's NLB's annual learning event designed to level up innovative thinking and to unlock creativity with real world applications for both career and personal goals. So I'm just going to explain like what's happening then, okay? It's going to feature talks by industry thought leaders, hands-on activities and creativity theme exhibitions. There's also programs like Fail-a-bration.
Wow.
Yeah.
Celebrating failures.
Exactly.
Wow.
So it's a bold and honest session, right? Led by 10 well-known founders and creators and a fireside chat with experts on building creativity into business strategy. I think pretty cool. You get to dive into curated workshops and experiences across libraries island-wide, so all across all the different NLBs, and you get to reimagine life possibilities through the digital game Tabby and the multiverse. I think you can find out more in the links down below. So all of this was brought to you by NLB, Skills Future Singapore, and the Lifelong Learning Institute. Very cool stuff.
Okay, so the arrangement for sabbatical was that in the morning, I expect you to do the bare basic. The salary continue, okay? So basically, no need to go in. If nothing surfaced to you, no need to do anything.
Wow, sure.
Right? Okay. But just morning check in your team, make sure that they got do their things. Then after that, if you need to QC, you QC. Then the team can approach you for things in the morning. Then in the afternoon, whatever. Right? And then if the morning thing you want to do in the afternoon, fine. Okay. Right? So that was the deal. Yeah. So I'm curious to know what on earth did you do for a month?
Okay, so I think there were a few goals that I set out for myself, right? One was to experiment whether, can I rebuild like my social following or pursue something new in that space? Because it feels like I already have all the tools, so that seems like the easiest way to go about it. The other options I was considering is like, I want to do trading or, like learn a new skill. And then...
Why is it? I don't know. Some people's career, dude.
Actually, fitness training, you mean?
No, trading.
No, trading.
Or trading.
Yeah, he just has to use that voice.
Then I think the last aspect was that when, like I think I've shared this before, but when I'm mentally or emotionally like in a poor state, right? Physically also rabak. So I was like gaining weight like I think I was like 93 kg or something. So one of the goals was to get back in shape. Okay. Yeah. So going back to MMA, really programming a goal and all that, right? To me that was like the hardest thing that I was going to do. And then like doing like my meal prep, dieting and all this kind of stuff lah. I think those were the three main key areas. And then also I think one of the side ones was like reconnecting with some friends, the social relational aspect of things lah.
One of the deals we had is that I'm going to check on him weekly, right? And then find out what he's like, whether he's hitting his KPI. And I actually made the conscious decision actually after that not to. To me, as an employer, there's a few ways we can get this done. Right? I must make sure your sabbatical is good. Right? So we had a solid financial arrangement for that. You agree?
Yep.
I also make sure that I also looked at your progress on Instagram, and I realized that if you don't post and you simply rested, right, that would have been goals hit. If you did damn well in your goals of your KPI, if you want to make 1 post a day, that would have been goals hit. But if you're in between, right, then the goals were not met. And I feel like looking at social media, right, it feels like you were in between, and I don't want to check that.
Okay. So I can explain. I was planning a lot of it. I was planning. Then I really go and execute a few like Insta stories or whatever, Instagram like reels or what, right? What I realized was that I really don't want to do it. Like I really don't give a about this.
Right. Like I saw you
I'm
trying
not-
recipes and stuff.
Yeah, no, so I experiment. Then I did one that popped off.
Yeah.
Which was about taking the sabbatical.
Can you imagine you almost quit your job?
No. I know that I can do it.
Right.
And I proved to myself within like 3 Instagram reels or whatever that, okay, no problem. Confirm I can get views if I wanted to one.
Yeah.
So it's not that the skill lacking. But when I think about doing it, right, like damn sian. Like, I don't want to do. But that was what I needed to recognize.
Yeah.
Right? Because now I have no excuses for myself. I have to do it.
Yeah.
Then when I do it, I don't enjoy.
Yeah.
Then it start to get me thinking about a lot of other things instead. So and also like trying to understand like what if I were to create content, what is the value that I can bring to others? And so I think there were like 2 things that I learned. One is that I shouldn't need to force content. Instead, I need to live a life that produces the content and things that are worth sharing. That was the first one. And so then I started to look at my life and what were the upcoming like milestones that I would want to hit and then work towards those things. And the process of working towards those things would then be the content.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic way to live, by the way.
Yeah.
Right. The problem is that I cannot achieve them within a month, but that's fine. That's the process. So me being able to discover that over that month helped a lot.
Before you come back, or 1.5 weeks, where there's a bit of dread, and there's also a bit of like preparation, right? To make sure that you're gonna come into gear. And you also, if I were you also, I'll feel like there's something to prove that this sabbatical was not for nothing. What was that preparation you did? You are ready to push yourself.
It's interesting that you bring that up because during the entire month, it was also a time for a lot of reflection. Like I was like actively like journaling and doing this kind of
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you still?
Less. Still have one of the goals that I had for this sabbatical was to challenge myself to accomplish something that was very difficult for me.
Like what were some examples per day?
So one of them was that I was going to stick to a program so that I can achieve like a certain health goal. And like similar to like my work also, right? Like I was also giving myself excuses and all this kind of stuff and failing multiple times at like getting into the shape that I want to be. But this time what I learned was that the process is not smooth. Like when you look at people online, like those like fitness influencers and all that, right? It's like you only see their good days. You only see the days that they are showing up and all that kind of stuff. You don't see the days where they are struggling mentally. It's a very good analogy for reality of every aspect of life. There will be ups and downs. And I think that was something that I recognized. And this time around, because I was able to recognize that, when I have a setback, right, it doesn't snowball into me just completely giving up. This time around, I recognize and acknowledge the setback. And then I recognize that I am a human. And then the next day, I get back into it. And that's where I was able to see like the most like consistency and progress also. Helped me to reframe and come back here knowing that, okay, I can challenge myself again in every other aspect of life, including work. And one of the things that I recognized was that when I was here, right, my ideas and the things that I was churning out, they were not work that I was proud of for quite a period of time already. It was because I wasn't following the systems that I have already developed or the ways in which I would. Like I wasn't strict with myself. I already know how to do, but then why I don't follow the steps?
Yeah.
I knew that when I come back, right, it's a matter of realigning myself with the approaches that I already know how to do and making sure that I follow through with those things.
Yeah.
And that in itself has already, I can see the results of my creativity improving already. Yeah. Like I understand the formulas and I'm following them rather than winging it or being lazy about it. So, and during that reflection phase, that whole month, right, I also, because I didn't have the pressure of having to constantly create content here, I was able to step back and I guess like fall in love with creative content again by consuming a lot of content around creativity.
Right.
Like
learning lah, basically.
yeah, learning from like other creators, learning from all kinds of resources, right, on how to like different approaches to be creative.
Yeah.
So during that break, right, I actually like, wow, I got this idea, I got that idea, you know, like it was sparking so many ideas because of that process.
You know, that was what I was actually concerned about you, right? When you joined the company for a month. Because I realized the way you approach creativity, right, is methodological, you know, in the sense whereby you would tell me things like, so Real Talk 2, for example, when I say like, I want to retire the brand, for multiple reasons, for branding reasons, I also feel like we can't replicate that, that kind of stuff. I wanted to end it. And I remember he said, it did well, right? It did well all the way to the last episode, right? So then why you stop? Then I'm like, oh, because like this talent is traveling and blah, blah, blah. Then I feel like I also run out of things to say. Then he's like, change people, then just do it. I said, what will we talk about now? He said, go and do your best performing episode. Then we will redo that because new stories, new dimension, what? It'll be different people, so it can be the same topic, but it'll be completely different. Then I'm like, cool. Like that's one way to think.
And the funny thing is just last week, you told us evidence-based success is the opposite.
Because we're learning from each other. No, but actually, no.
You are the robot now.
No, okay, I tell you, and I think I've said this before in like an early episode many years ago, right? How I saw creativity differently. Because in the past, I also think of it as like you need to be born with a certain skill to be able to connect the certain neurons in your head and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
Then I remember when I was super young in my early job, right? There was this guy, and I know we paid big money for this guy. And it was like, it's a medical conference, like maybe salespeople, like pharmaceutical. He's here, he's gonna talk for 40 minutes, and then he's gonna f off. He's not even staying for the 3-day event to mingle. And then I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what's he gonna teach these pharmaceutical reps? And I was extremely curious. I remember I ran from the registration booth where I was working to go and listen to his talk. And then he started his whole 10 minutes on, he almost didn't make it today because his flight was delayed. And then how he had to be very freaking creatively, right? Take certain trains and connect certain flights to get here. Then I'm like, bro, we pay you so much money, I mean, not me lah, but like you spent 10 minutes talking about how you got here. That's crazy, But then there was one line he said, right, that really changed my mind. He changed my life, I think. He said, there is no such thing as original ideas. But every single original idea is a combination of 2 or more already known ideas. And that changed my mind because if you believe that, and he gave a lot of examples, right? Like for example, a smartphone is like handphone and computer put together, that kind of thing. Which kind of changed the way I saw things because I see creativity now as ingredients. Yeah, like that you must know a lot of ingredients. You must have a lot of ingredients in your head. So when you decide to cook, right, you don't always cook the same thing. Yeah. And so that tells me 2 things. The first thing is that you must absorb as much information as possible so that when the neurons fire, right, it will connect in a way that you've never connected before. Because if you have 3 ideas, then you're only going to get 9 ideas. Like you can only combine 9 times, right? Yeah. If you only know 3 things, right? And the other thing is that it can be learned. Because when you learn a new creative technique or a way to approach creativity like yours, like the method one, which at first I super disagree because I always thought like, for example, Real Talk was a show about humans, is from the heart. And you're like, no, we will just replicate from past success, blah, blah, blah. We'll look at what the other channels that's trying to copy us. Then we will take their best hits, then we copy them back. Then I'm like, wow, that's crazy. But it's so fresh to me at that time.
Yeah, no, but I think something that's interesting and you brought up was that creativity can be process driven. It can be systematic. It can be taught almost. Because I think a lot of people think like, actually, I'm not creative. And I think they just leave it at that. But actually, there's a lot of ways in which you can manufacture to some extent. Maybe that's not the right word, but manufacture creativity just through like a series of systems or processes.
I think looking at John Paul's story, right, it reminds me of like the talent zone, or rather it's something that I've been reflecting like for the past few weeks, especially filming John Pat Cross and stuff like that. New episode, guys, go and watch. Where I realized that all I wanted to do was to be a musician when I was younger. But thank God I was at it.
Where is this going?
I felt like I had the talent. I might still be pursuing music. I might be a music teacher, and I mean, hats off to it's an important job, but then I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And sorry, this comes from a lot of panels that I've been on in the last 3 weeks as well, where a lot of the rich and successful people, talk about like following your passion. Then I'm like,
that's bad advice.
Every time they say follow your passion, it kills me a little bit inside. Right. Yeah. Because that's not what you should do with your youth.
Yeah.
You should be exploring in your youth. Yeah. Not follow your passion. Because your passion will exist when you are rich. Your passion can exist when you are poor. Yeah. But follow your passion when you're young, right? If you make the mistake of getting very good at it, right? But not 1% good, like you're probably gonna be broke.
Which kind of goes back to a very early episode that I think we did when we talked about like, should you pursue passion or money? And I think the conclusion that we reached was that I think you should keep your day job, earn enough money so that you can do your passion on the side. Maybe not necessarily a sabbatical, but have you ever felt like just creatively drained?
Have. Okay, so last time his first ever
Okay, let's get to it. Okay.
So because of him leaving, right, I have to take over his role. And then eventually I was stuck in the role. And his role is something I wasn't inclined to do. So I had to force myself to be creative.
Which you are?
I said, okay, no, wait, let me rephrase. As you all know, I like to be a collaborator. So to be, I feel like my brain at that point of time wasn't at its peak yet to lead.
Yeah.
Okay, in my opinion. So when I had to take over the leadership role, right, it was a bit of like for that 7 months that I was a leader, right, it's like completely drained me to my core.
Right.
Yeah, because I had to basically come up with ideas and I have to give opinions on ideas. So every day, right, is really working my brain to squeeze every last juice of creativity there is. And I think that really like killed me.
Wait. So then with that question, right?
I mean, sorry. Aren't you just bad at that job?
Or mismatch lah.
I think
Mismatch.
I think
And then if you're good at that job, then there's no burnout.
No, but okay, so as someone who's never taken a sabbatical in the last 8 years, have you experienced burnout and how did you deal with that without being able to take yourself out of the entire process?
I think when you're burnout, you're just tired. And then you might need a little reset or you might need to change certain things in your life so that you're not so tired. Can I share another thing that I've learned though?
Yeah.
okay.
Oh,
Is that not burnout?
No, I don't think so. If you look at the definition of burnt out, people say, oh, he's burnt out. And then that's like the be all and all of everything. And when you subscribe to that, right, many people make very drastic things like changing industry. An industry where they have built their network or perhaps following and their entire resume on. What I've learned over the years actually is that over the years, right, every time I meet entrepreneurs, especially those like in the same business for 20, 30 years, that kind. Especially for me, right? Because I do 8 years, then am I a bit sian? I'm a bit sian lah. I'm a bit tired already. But it's not that I hate it. I just feel like, is there more to life? You know, backside kind of itchy. So I ask people that in the same industry, they run their own business for 30 years, 40 years. They have gone through so many cycles, which means their company, right, must have almost died a few times. And then they still continue. Because I realize that's the truth one. Every company almost died multiple times the older you are.
Yeah.
And so I asked them like, what do you all do? And actually surprisingly, something I've never done, okay, is that there's this whole community of people, right? They will just go for like paid courses or they will attend those like corporate boot camps.
Oh.
Not like send the company there to energize the company, that kind of, which is what I thought corporate boot camps was, okay? It's the boss, the founder himself, he takes like a 3-day break and then he just go and like some is a bit weird.
Yeah.
Some they make you scream, like walk in a circle and shout at each other.
Oh, yeah.
But some, right, they really just bring in like the same broken people and then all of them share the story of how they found their fire at the start. Wow. Yeah, and then like just hearing from people. I mean, granted, not everybody have access to all these people and these courses can be expensive also. But just hearing people's story, right? And that's why you see also like from time to time, you always see like founders of other companies will just come and then we just have like chats and actually got no agenda one. We both know going to this, right, that we are just here trying to energize each other for the next 3 weeks. Then somewhere out there we will go and find someone else to connect with. And that's why like there always seem to be a tight founder community in that sense because everybody is broken and everybody is just meeting each other to try and patch and heal each other, inspire each other, and it super works.
It's like an entrepreneurs anonymous.
Yeah. No, but it super works because sometimes you see like someone that's a little bit older, then you see they're still fighting. Then you're like, cannot be, I don't have the energy, I'm so young. Then I meet someone that's younger than me, right? Then they hit success so early, right? Then I'm like, cannot be 25-year-old can do it, 35-year-old cannot do it. So either way, it kind of energizes you when you hear someone's story, depending on your mindset lah.
Right.
I mean, like something that John Paul mentioned that was I think it's pretty obvious, but I think it's like not a lot of people like believe in it or like practice it, which is that you need to create time for yourself to consume that content and then you almost fall in love with like learning again.
Yep.
And I think that's something that we don't make enough time for because we work and then by the time we go home, we just want to binge watch like a Netflix show or we want to spend time with our kids, which is also really important. But then we don't leave time for ourselves to like explore and learn again.
You know what's my hack?
What's your hack?
Pat doesn't like watching TV.
Oh!
So I can't like go back and then I want to watch my Netflix. She doesn't like watching TV. So I end up on my phone a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, then you just start reading.
No, but
legit, that's my life.
And so you learn like in the process.
Yeah.
Speaking of reading, Alison also started reading recently.
Yeah.
What sparked that?
Because we had an episode about things to do before you're 40, then I realized I'm damn dumb. So I don't want to keep saying I'm dumb, I want to be smart.
And you
Oh
took
my God,
action.
I love that.
How you've like started reading and learning at this age, but it's so like important to know that you can start anytime.
Yeah.
Even if you're 40 or 50, you can do it. You read 6 books in what? Like 6 weeks?
No. What? I said no.
You started reading 6 books. Okay, explain.
My goal was 1 book a month.
Okay.
I have not been hitting that goal.
Okay.
But it's okay.
But I have been hitting the goal of reading the news.
Oh, which I think is also
Like not
important.
just the headline, I press the article.
No.
So what's the
You know?
process? So you go to the news like website or you're still using like notifications?
I still use it on my phone, but I think last time I just see the headline. I won't really read into it.
Okay.
Because sometimes it's so freaking boring. But now I actively press to figure out what's going on.
Right.
And do you feel now that like when people are talking at the lunchtime table, like you understand and that's like fun to be able to understand what's going on?
Yes, actually. I feel I'm more involved. Because previously, right, when I talk to people, I spend the first minute trying to understand what they're talking about at first before forming an opinion.
Right.
It was so endearing because earlier, right, like you're talking about something that happened in the news, right? And then Alisa was so like endearing. She said, "Oh my god, I understand what you guys are talking about."
Because half the time,
Yeah,
That was
the words are very like just not got some inside joke. Like, what is that?
be curious.
yeah, I love that. I love that for you.
Speaking of reading, like I think it should be mentioned. Like I think a lot more people know this now, but not enough people know this now. You can borrow books for free on like the NLB app and on your Livy tablets.
Yeah, I went to borrow.
Yeah, and like it's so cute because right, even though it's digital, there's a limited amount of books you can borrow.
Okay, I got a question. You all got pro tip for how to read? Because right, I tried reading multiple times also, right? I just cannot.
Wait, do you at least try and then realize after one page you cannot, or you just cannot bring yourself to even open the book?
Okay, the sitting up thing, right? So I know if I lie down, I fall asleep. Good nap. But then right,
still a
I
week.
tell myself, okay, go to a cafe, sit there, drink a powerful coffee, 4 espresso shots, then power through 1 hour. I cannot retain anything. I look halfway, the word all float. Then I realize like for the last 15 minutes, I thinking of something else. I start losing focus.
Okay, okay.
Like even when I'm driving also, it's damn dangerous. Like
You tried reading and driving.
like the loss of focus is real. Like I just cannot. I'm like somewhere else. I'm thinking of a memory. I'm thinking of also like some fantasy, some alternate reality, some whatever. I'm thinking about my toe. Got pro tip or not for reading?
Have. So right, every time I approach a book, first of all, when people recommend you a book, but then they don't tell you why, right? Don't bother.
Okay.
Yeah, it must be a book that you see the title or you read out about the book, and then there's something in the book that you want, and or I tell you must read this book because, and then you know what's the because.
Yep.
Don't think of a book as you have to read all 700 pages from start to end. Think of a book where it's trying to teach you 2 to 3 lessons. Then when you find the 2 to 3 lessons, I dare say I wasted a lot of time reading so many business books from start to end to realize they only teach one thing.
And it's very repetitive.
And it's like, why must you believe? Why must you believe? So like 100 million examples on why this works. But it's like, I just want to know the method.
Anyway, if you're also looking for resources, you can head over to the Learn X Thrive by NLB. That's where you can find a lot of things essentially, but it's a microsite, right, that can help you explore new skills and fresh directions if you're looking to unlock your creativity. What helps for me is that I give myself very like snackable goals. So like to me, right, is that I look at how long this chapter is. Then I see, it's 5 pages. Okay, 5 pages doable. If it's like 20 pages, right, then I see whether got like middle part where I can stop or not. So I always set myself, I know, so I cannot read more than 10 pages in one sitting nowadays.
Right. Okay, then question is, how do you retain? Because like I really read through the book, or I use that method also because I know like, okay, why I'm reading this, right? So I see the value. Then I also skip to like the takeaways, all that kind of stuff sometimes. But I cannot retain anything.
So last time when I borrowed my sister's books, right, I also feel like it was like that. Then when I started buying my own books, right, I fold a page. That helps me.
Diabolical.
It's my book. I don't intend to sell this book. So I thought, this concept damn cool. Then no highlighter, no nothing, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I just use my fingernail, I scratch the paper, that line there, right? Then I fold up the thing. So that for me also, I write down. I have a note in my phone.
I also write down.
I also write down, but I cannot remember. I will scroll through my saved messages, right? Then like, wow, I read this thing before. I ever read the same book 3 times, not knowing that I already read the book,
Yeah, so like I have like concepts that I felt like was life changing that I want to share.
Words I don't understand, but I learned from Chi Sun Juan's book.
No, important also.
Google the meaning of the word.
No, this is a
dictionary.
goal. So it's not so much about just extracting, but also like learning vocab. There's been so many times also where I read a book and then I retain for a while and then I try and practice or whatever lah, like depending on what the book is. And then after that I forget and I go back also and go, I realized that if that happens, right, the lesson just wasn't important enough. Alright guys, that's all the time we have today. I just want to remind everybody again that Thrive at Libraries 2025, it's happening across libraries in Singapore and it starts on the 16th of August. You can also head to Learn X Thrive by NLB for resources and a microsite to help you discover and explore new skills and fresh directions. More information in a link down below. Thank you so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Like, subscribe.
Subscribe, for reals, guys. It really helps.
I don't know what is
Egregious.
egregious.
Right.
Egregious.
It's outstandingly.
I also don't know. What?
EGREGIOUS is outstandingly bad or shocking.